Welcome back, folks. Anaris here with another exciting StarCraft 2 broadcast from LastPlayerStanding.com's 48-player SC2 Open. Third season quarterfinals. Let me just say, we've already had a thrilling ride so far. This could be the last match in the quarterfinal series between GoSuGatored and RevDoctor. Currently, RevDoctor is up 1-0 after an outstanding performance on GSL dual site, just kind of sitting back, taking his time, playing very defensively, and then going for that drop where he saw just phenomenal returns, knocking out half of GoSuGatored's economy and eventually just whittling him down to a point where he could not recover. So on Antigua Shipyard's cross-spawn positions, I think we could see RevDoctor once again get into his comfort zone, which we saw last game was about the 2 base mark, could be going for 3, as this one is pretty easy to take, very close to your natural expansion, and of course there's this giant choke point right here that you can kind of claim on the way. So RevDoctor's definitely be looking to try to take advantage of that, and GoSuGatored likewise, with being so far away from his opponent, may decide to opt for an earlier expansion than he did in the previous game. Now, I think that both players had a very solid economy in that match, but still, that drop was just absolutely fantastic. So, GoSuGatored, probably going to be playing fairly standard here today. Looking at how he's going so far, 1 gate, gas. I mean, again, this is very typical. We're going to be watching the Chrono Boost and the second Geyser. If he claims that second one, he could be going for some type of 1-base tech play, possibly Robo, or he could even just be going for a 4 or 5 gate. It's certainly possible. We've seen Naniwa go for that type of pressure play, trying to punish a player cross-spawn for going for an early expansion. Terran could be quite vulnerable to it, as he is not claiming either of his geysers right now, which means he's likely going to be saving up for a command center. We see him already at 300 minerals right now. And we do have the SCV heading right over here to the corner. Notice how he's keeping it out of visual range of this probe, kind of hoping that he's able to pop that off before it comes up here and scouts the geysers. It is going to be going down right there, so not going to let this probe's presence really affect the timing. GoSuGatored, I mean, he already knows, and the Terran player knows this as well, that the probe's going to come up here, he's going to check the gas, and he's just going to know, okay, 1 Rax, no gas, either there's a second barracks that's hidden somewhere across the map, that is very unlikely, or more likely is that there's just going to be an expansion going down. So he might just go ahead and decide to throw down his own. If he does, it'll probably be around the 30 supply mark or so. Again, that's pretty typical in how it goes. The Stalker, just about complete, looking to try to deny any more scouting, and that's generally when the Protoss is going to start throwing down any tech production facilities, anything like that. Is after that Stalker pops out and denies the scouting of the Terran player. So in this case, we do have the Protoss saving up enough money for an expansion, going to be dropping it down at 26 supply, and the command center is just about complete. Notice how he's just continuing on with the 1 barracks, but he does have the double gas and a second barracks on the way. So he's going to be pretty much just committed to playing with that same passive style, except not quite relying on Marauder Concussive Shell, quite as much there. He's just going to be going ahead with this economic style of play, and having scouted out his opponent and continuing to do so, he's going to feel very comfortable. And this Stalker's just like, you know what? I'm not going to go over there. You SCV, come to me. But then he got impatient and did it anyways. I mean, that's something I would totally do. And 2 additional gateways going down, as well as an assimilator. So I think now we could start to see and get a better idea of what GoSuGatored is going to be going for in terms of tech. Robotics facility is a very common thing to transition into, because number 1, observers be able to get up there and scout out your opponent. It's very likely that he knows this command center is up here, and with it, some defenses. We of course can see 2 bunkers, one of which is fully loaded with Marines. But GoSuGatored does have enough up here to at least poke and prod. Nothing more than that, though. The purpose of having these forces here are to keep the Terran player contained, make sure he can deny scouting, deny map control, and the Stalker is a very good unit for that. The shields, he has as much shields as he does hit points, and if he can just engage a Marine, an SCV, whatever, to keep from taking hit point damage, then, he's going to be golden. combine that with the fact that they have a very fast run speed. I think it's 2.95. Yeah, and the Marine is, I think, 2.25 or something like that. Yeah, 2.25. So that will lend itself very well, again, to that type of hit-and-run play, which is really one of the things that the Stalker excels at. But we'll get into that. That's a different story entirely. GoSuGatored going ahead, claiming his 3rd and 4th geysers, as his robotics facility is now complete. We have that observer on the way. Going for that observer first, again, just a choice made because he knows he's not under imminent threat from an attack. If he was, he would likely throw down an immortal instead of an observer first, but he wants to get up there, get that scouting done, and look at what we have here from RevDoctor. Notice how Siege Tech is just about complete. We have Siege Tanks, so we have a semi-mech style of play here, and we could also have a push. He's going ahead with a 2nd reactor as well as, ooh, a starport right there. So with the siege tanks, the heavy marine production, the 2-base, I think we could be standing to see a very strong 2-base timing attack here to try to exploit the Protoss and his vulnerability of not quite having the unit composition to deal with it around, well, I mean, it could be the 10-minute mark, 12-minute mark, or we could decide to play more passive and just build up more, but the problem with that, and this is why I think that the Terran player is going to be going for that timing attack, is because Marines with these 4 now reactors are extremely potent at this stage of the game before the Protoss player has Colossi. Tech Lab coming as well, which means we're either going to see a Banshee or a Raven come out of this. Raven can drop the PDD, pretty much negating the Stalker shots there, making them essentially useless. And that just, the Marines are very effective against them. You know, the Guardian Shield can reduce the damage by 2, bringing it down to 4, but still, man, the Siege Tank, all of those Marines producing out of the 2-base, 4 barracks play is just going to provide for a very, very powerful attack coming from RevDoctor. So with this Raven about 40% complete, we take a look back down at GoSuGatored's base, where we see he has got several sentries. He's had them for some time. And not sure what those dots are for. But he does have a couple Immortals. Those would be great in dealing with the Siege Tanks. Good choice on that. And having all this energy building up here, I think is going to help out with this attack should it come anytime soon. But he's got to get more units than just this. He does have a Colossus on the way, extended Thermal Lance, and he's chrono boosting out the Colossus. So I think that, again, is another very wise decision. Also, Weapons 1 just about complete. And I like how he's chronoing that extended Thermal Lance. So very, very smart choice there. Keeping a couple Stalkers back here, again, just anticipating a drop. If it was going to be coming, it would be about this time. But what we do see coming across the map right now is a very powerful push. Look at all these Marines, ladies and gentlemen. We don't even have any SCVs in here. I don't think... Oh, no, we do. They're trailing back there. And... oh man, he is going to have enough energy for the push here in probably, yeah, a couple minutes, or not a couple minutes, but about a minute or so, if that. And here comes the Protoss now, trying to do any damage that he can to this army, which is split up right now. I like that a lot, but Terran doing a good job keeping himself together. Got to regroup and push ahead as one unit, but he has to be careful because this Colossus now, it will have the extended Thermal Lance in just a second, and that's really what the Protoss wants to have in his arsenal. Second Colossus nest now finished, so this is going to open up another opportunity for a harassment, as the Terran is going to be opting for a very passive containment rather than just trying to push in and be aggressive. And I think that's probably a good choice, but at this point, it's not one that I think he would have liked to have made right out of the gates, because he saw the Colossi there, and now he knows there's 2 Colossi. So I think this is just the best decision that he can make at this point, providing a good secondary position to fall back to in case the Protoss player is able to push back the assault up the ramp. And of course, we have the Banshee continuing to push forward. We have a Ghost Academy on the way with a second Banshee, as well as more siege tanks on production, and of course one on the way. Several more forces heading down as well. But look at all these Zealots coming in. I think the Protoss is going to try to bust out of that list, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go now, folks. Several Guardian Shields going down. No force fields, anything like that on the ground to prevent the Marine Micro, as the Protoss is looking like he's just going to be mopping up this fight. Oh my god, he's going to break through this without losing hardly anything. Oh my god, I cannot believe he was able to do that. That was absolutely beautiful, folks. Those Zealots coming back, keeping those Marines and siege tanks at bay, absorbing a couple shots, and RevDoctor has left the game. All right. Well, I guess that's going to be it. I'm going to just go ahead and assume that it was either him dropping or I don't think he rage quit. I'm pretty sure he just dropped there, because if you look at the chat log, we see there's a lot of lag there. So I don't know. But either way, that's going to conclude game number 1. That was beautiful by GoSuGatored. Nothing less than beautiful. So moving ahead to game number 3, I will see if I can get confirmation of what happened here, but I think that it's going to be going to GoSuGatored. Anyways, thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it, and let's go check out the next video.